There are hundreds, if not thousands, of factors that women look for in men nowadays that simply do not matter. In fact, the women who seek out these traits end up in celebrity-like relationships that look really good on the outside, but actually lack all the ingredients of a healthy, genuine love. They end up in a dynamic where the man simply does not care about her in the way that she desires. So listen up, I'm going to be sharing certain factors that are just irrelevant when it comes to meeting your life partner. Trait number one that we really should not care about or should not value to the extent that we do is a man's looks. I want to preface this by saying, yes, of course, you need to have physical attraction in order for a relationship to work. But when you simply just make the entire thing about looks, he needs to be a certain height, he needs to be a certain weight, he needs to have a certain physique, a certain eye color, you are simply neglecting the character traits and the values that are actually going to contribute to longevity. Okay, so what I found, especially when it comes to my dating clients, is there are very few women who actually know which factors to look for. Many women, their list of must-haves are a height, are a physique, are a certain build. And this is why they end up attracting gym bros who might look good on the outside, but who lack all of the things that are necessary for a healthy relationship to thrive. So when you make looks the sole focus of your search, the sole thing that you are interested in, that is what you'll end up getting. Is a guy who looks great, but who lacks any sort of substance inside. So this is why you need to kind of put looks on the back burner and even go out with men who may not look like your type, who may not look like a guy that you would generally find attractive, right? Because now you are giving someone a chance to actually show what they have beyond the surface. And another thing that I want to mention here is women are not visual lovers, men are. So a lot of times when women prioritize looks, they actually end up dating like men. They act like men, they chase men, they want men who look a certain way. And they forget that looks are not going to contribute anything to the equation of happiness, okay? So yes, go out with men that you find attractive, even if they are not the prototypical type of man that you generally look for or that you generally seek. When you give men a chance to shine, you actually get to know them beyond the surface. We all deserve to be with someone that we find attractive, but you would actually be amazed as to who you would find attractive once you get to know them, once you figure out who they are, once you get a glimpse of their heart, once you see their actions. So personally speaking, for me, there are men who I may find attractive, but the minute they open their mouth or the minute they start talking, all the attraction goes out the window. And then there are other men who might not be fully attractive on the outside. I might not look at them and desire them, but the minute that they open their mouth and start talking, I am immediately drawn to them like a magnet. So give yourself the space to actually figure out who is attractive, and you would be amazed as to who you find attractive beyond just the surface. The second factor that women chase that literally just makes me laugh is a man's luxury goods. He's wearing a Rolex, he owns a Lamborghini, he lives in this beachside property. I don't care. Because a lot of times these are the same men who find zero value in marriage. These are the same men who are bachelors into their 40s and 50s and who have no goal of settling down. These men tend to have a lot of addictive behaviors like smoking, like drinking, like gambling, like watching porn. And that is not the type of man that I want to spend the rest of my life with. I'm not saying that there aren't men out there who have luxury goods and who make good partners. But when you solely make your search about this man looks rich, this man has this certain status, then once again, you are ignoring the red flags, and you will likely end up with a man who is very rich, but who doesn't actually provide richness in love, richness in happiness, richness in spending time with you, richness in actually being there for you. Because these men have a certain status and level of power to uphold. They are likely going to put their business before their family. They are likely going to put these pursuits above things that matter. And more than likely, if you're watching my channel and if you desire true, deep, divine union, then you care less about what the man has in his bank account, and you care more about how he is going to be treating you on a day-to-day basis. Another thing that I want to say about this is just because a man has money does not mean he is generous. When I was single, I went on dates with millionaires, and there were some men who were literally complaining about paying $60 for a steak. And I was literally mind blown because I was thinking, this guy is literally worth 5 million plus. He owns properties, he owns supercars, and he is worried about paying for a steak. So just because a man has money does not mean he is generous. He could be frugal. He could even be cheap. And that is not the type of men we want to attract. We want to attract men who are generous with their women, generous with their families. They want to spend for the things that they care about. And that is why when you simply chase numbers, when you simply chase a certain level of net worth or a certain income level, you become so deluded and you stop looking at the things that matter. Like, how does he treat you? What does he provide for you? There are men out there who have millions of dollars, but they don't believe in supporting their wife or their girlfriend. They don't believe in honoring a woman and actually enabling her to live out her dreams. They actually don't even want a woman to pursue her dreams and her passions. And so always when we become so narrow-minded and when we become so focused on material success, we end up actually neglecting the other things, the things that matter a lot more. And I know women personally who are so happy with men who make 6 figures and maybe less and who are living their dream lives. And I know women who are with men who earn 7 figures and above who are actually miserable inside. So don't make it all about numbers. Look beyond there and actually get to know someone for who they are rather than what they own. Number 3 is his nice car. This goes hand in hand with his luxury goods, but a lot of times women actually prioritize a man's car even more than what this man has actually saved and invested. So giving you guys some context, when I was single, I went on multiple dates with men who drove nice cars. I went on dates with men who drove Lamborghinis. I went on dates with men who drove BMW i8s. And my now husband, he owned 2 cars. He owned a Mustang and he owned a Corvette. Now, I mean, a Corvette is semi a luxury car, but it's not like a car that is so out of reach, right? So comparatively speaking, he wasn't driving a nicer car than all of these other guys. But guess what? One of his cars was completely paid off. The other one was actually on its way to being paid off. He had multiple 6 figures saved in the bank and invested, and he was actually saving money for his dream home with his future wife, aka me. A lot of these other guys, they might have been driving the nice car, but they didn't own a property. The car wasn't paid off. And so you have to look beyond the surface. I don't care if a guy drives a McLaren if he's literally renting an apartment and doesn't have any money saved. So you want to be with a man who is financially stable, who makes logical decisions about his future, about his finances that are smart, and who's actually saving for the betterment of his family. And a lot of times, you would be amazed. There are multimillionaires who to this day drive a Honda Civic. And so when you simply just look at a man's car and say, oh, I wouldn't date him, he drives a Toyota, you would be shocked as to what his net worth actually is. I personally actually know a man, this was actually a friend of my sister and I's. We grew up with this guy and he was just so knowledgeable, very smart, and he drove a Honda Civic. This man was stacking up money, investing money, and actually recently just saw that this guy owns multiple properties, multiple businesses, and he owns acres of land. So which one are you preferring? A Lamborghini or someone who actually owns assets? Keep in mind, cars are liabilities, they are not assets. So I would much rather have a guy who is driving an average car, but he is actually financially savvy and he is making decisions that are going to benefit his future, not just his present, okay? Number 4 is his booming business or his business success. So a lot of women will chase men who are featured in a magazine, who are Forbes 30 under 30, who have, attained certain awards or certain accolades that are only given to top business owners. Once again, that's not a bad thing. None of these things in and of themselves are bad. But when you make this the focus of your dating search, you neglect the things that matter. This man might have all the business success and he may be abusing his wife. Okay, so you have to realize that just because a man has achieved success in his job, that does not mean that he is a good family man. That does not mean that he has integrity and honesty and values that are sustainable for a long-term commitment. So when you center your search around men who are only entrepreneurs, who are only achieving this high level of success, you actually will realize that a lot of these men are not ready to settle down. And the ones who do settle down don't really make good husbands. They are traveling most of the year. They miss a lot of big events. They are not there for their children's milestones. And it is because they are busy pursuing a dream. Their dream is not having a healthy, happy family. Their dream is achieving the billionaire status. And so just because this guy has accolades or has achievements does not mean he is going to be a devoted husband and father. Last but not least, number 5 is his Instagram brand. I find it so silly when women desire a man and their reasoning is, did you see how many followers he has? Have you seen his Instagram? It's so aesthetic. Have you seen, how big his brand is? That is so silly to me. I think that some of the best husbands, A, either don't have social media, or B, have some of the most not aesthetic social media profiles that you've ever seen. It's because they are actually worried about being good men in real life. They are not worried about this facade. They are not worried about getting more followers or getting likes. Actually, that is a very feminine thing to do. I've talked about this before in another video where I said I would never date men who had social media. Got a lot of hate for that video. It was actually polarizing. People either loved it or hated it. And I talked about how social media is actually made for women. It's because women desire community. Women desire attention a lot of times. And it is actually a very feminine thing to do to be on social media, to curate your profile and to post pictures and get those likes and that engagement. It is actually a very feminine desire. And men who seek that are generally not the best men. They are worried about appearing a certain way. Once again, about having nice style, about having this certain physique or this certain level of looks, but it's because inside they are lacking. Remember, not everything that's shiny outside is actually valuable within. Okay, so these are the key things to look out for when you're searching for a man, when you are ready to embark on the journey of meeting your lifelong partner. These are the factors that could be nice to haves. They could be bonuses. They could be the cherry on top, but they are not the end all be all. And if you make them the end all be all, more times than not, you are going to end up in a situation where you have a guy who has the luxury goods. You have the guy who looks really good. You have the guy who has a nice car, but you don't have the husband that you truly desired. Okay? So I just wanted to let you guys know, if you are currently online dating or if you want to make an online dating profile, I have very exciting news. I have a free Magnetic Profile Masterclass. It's the first link in the description of this video. And in that video, I walk you step by step on how to create a magnetic profile, one that is irresistible, one that will literally have men flying out of the country just to meet you. So I invite you to check that out. Leave this video a thumbs up and a comment down below if it was helpful. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.